If you think about resources, the one we really can't live without is water. And it's probably the resource we think the least about.
I just drink whatever water's near me.
I drink a ton of water.
I drink a lot of water throughout the day. Probably, doctors recommend, I think it's 8 full glasses of water a day. I drink more than that.
I think that I drink probably about 6 to 7 Nalgene's, which would mean that'd be about like 4 liters a day around there.
I do laundry at least once a week.
I don't really monitor my laundry that closely.
I shower at least once a day because I work out once a day.
Showers at school are basically just quick because they're quick. I'm not gonna like linger in like the communal bathroom.
Virtual water is sometimes called indirect water, and surprisingly, it's most of the water we use. We go around, and I'm certainly in favor of this, if you're turning off the faucet while you're brushing your teeth, or being careful if you're washing your car, watering your grass, all that stuff. But in fact, when we look at the water that we consume each day, the majority of it comes from the food we eat, the clothes we wear, the manufacturing processes of items. So we don't account for that necessarily every day. When you pick up, say, a pound of beef, you don't say, oh, I'm really holding 2,000 gallons of water. But that's what you're doing.
I wrestle. It's a tough sport in terms of eating, and it makes you really cherish food, and so that for me is a big part of why you eat meat. You crave it a lot during wrestling season. Eat dinner, which generally is a lot of protein, a lot of carbohydrates, and lots of food.
The reason that I started being vegan was because I just really didn't know where anything was coming from. For lunch, I'll usually have a arugula salad, and then I'll go to the vegan station and always get like some quinoa and some lentils.
So when you think about virtual water and food production, if say you're thinking about that pound of beef you're going to eat, you might think, oh, there's that cow and that cow drinks so much water, or you need so much water to wash the cow. And that's certainly one use, but you might not think that's the water that was also used to raise the wheat or the corn or the soybeans or the grass or the hay, all of this food that cow is eating. And so you have to really extend far to get the idea that all of this water, not just drinking water and washing water, goes into the water that this cow consumes.
Any vegetable-based diet is going to be more sustainable than an animal-based diet, primarily because the soybeans are annually renewable, whereas with the meat-based diet, you're growing the same soybeans in many cases to feed to the animals, and then the animals are then slaughtered to feed people. So there's a large amount of inefficiency there. And that would be, to me, the main difference in sustainability as far as the difference between a vegetable versus an animal-based diet.
The idea that I won't eat this industrial produced beef and I'm going to leave that water in the plant. So whether that plant is a soybean or corn or wheat, soybean, corn, something like that, you've saved at least an order of magnitude water by going to eating the vegetable part rather than the industrial farmed animal part.
In terms of an ecological sense, I do feel a little guilty about eating meat, but at the same time, I don't care enough.
I'm not saying that everyone should be vegan because I think that it's unrealistic and honestly rude of me and not my place to say that, but I think that a lot of people do no meat Mondays and things like that, just trying to a meal without meat and see how it is. Maybe you really like lentils or
I don't know, maybe it would feel good if you made a chart. It said like all the water you're saving for future generations. So that on days when you were thinking, I can't do anything right, you could say, look at all the water I've saved.